Hey folks, I can't wait to talk about the devlog, but before I get into that, I have to let you know that the teaser trailer for Particle launches tomorrow, Sunday, January 28th at 10:27 a.m. I hope to see you all there. It's a premiere, and I'm really excited to show this to you, and I can't wait to get your feedback and hear what you think. Here's the synopsis to get you all excited. In 2077, on the eve of unveiling one of humankind's greatest achievements, disaster strikes, and the cataclysm that follows dramatically alters life on Earth, humanity's claim to the planet, and our understanding of life in the solar system itself. In 5 years, the changes that have begun will be permanent, and all of human civilization will be lost. Unless... Okay, please go check out the teaser Sunday, January 28th at 10:27 a.m. Now let's get to the devlog. So this is the first of what will be many. I'm hoping to do at least 1 or 2 a month. We'll see how it goes. Anything that's relevant. If I make some progress or discover something or have something super cool to show, I'm going to make a devlog and show you guys. So, look out for those. For this one, I think it's a special one because it's the first, but also because I'm publishing this on the 3-month anniversary of me really launching this channel. And the irony there is that the channel was supposed to be about the development of not just me to get my skills up, to become, again, get my skills up to the level where I want them to be so I can do this project, but also to show you the development of this project. The irony is, this is my first devlog in 3 months. So it's, we can talk about that for a little bit, but I will say that I've been trying a bunch of things on YouTube, but the core of why I started this channel was for this project and to bring everybody along with me on it to help make it better, to get your feedback. And it's scary, more than anything. It's scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to, for the expectations I have, for the expectations the industry has for what this should be. It's scary. And I think a lot of what I've been doing this first 3 months is, maybe a bit of procrastination, but no more. I've done that. I'm comfortable now, I think, on YouTube, and I'm ready to go. And I think it took a bit to get there. So my apologies, but it's the life of an artist, and it's, like I said in some earlier videos, it's hard to get past this fear of failure. Maybe fear of success. Let's hope it's that. So this first devlog, I want to talk about a lot of the initial processes. So I'm going to talk about the writing. I'm going to talk about some of my reference gathering and stylistic explorations. And then I want to take you through the logo development, because if you can believe it or not, I've been working on this project for the better part of 2 decades, and I never had a logo for it. So I finally made one. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about in this devlog is my writing. So this project has been with me in my head on my hard drives for about 2 decades, and I have pushed and pulled it here and there. I've added elements, I've modified things as ideas have come and gone. And I've even tried to, like I've said before, realize it in a different form on a webtoon comic that I did for 4 episodes that failed miserably because I couldn't put in the time I needed to justify what it needed to be. So that was unfortunate. But anyhow, I learned a lot, and I got this really great portion of the story done anyhow. So I've got a lot of writing, as you can see here, and there's more than that, and those are like multi page documents sitting there. But what I've been doing in my writing is I've gone back and I've been playing with dates, and I've been refining tech and technology, and really getting into the outlines and the timelines and the chain of events that's going to happen. It's about, I think I'm looking at about 5 seasons that I'm trying to capture, and I really want to get those laid out. I want to get everything, the game plan, the outline, the chain of events. I want to get that sorted enough that I know the big pieces that are moving, to drive the dialogue, to drive the moments, to drive our characters through these times. And so that's what I'm working on, and I will I'll let you know here and there some snippets, but obviously, like I've said in my previous video, I can't tell you everything because I want you to be surprised and excited and want to dive back into that journey to see what's happening and where the story's going. So hopefully this process I'm undertaking is going to help do that for you. I'm also leaning heavily on my wife, who is a writer, a novelist, and she teaches creative writing. So not only will she help me with punctuation, she will help me with just story ideas. It's great to have somebody to bounce ideas across and around with, and to see if logically what I'm saying and what I'm thinking of doing makes sense. More than anything though, does the story work? Is it working on the story side? So I'm excited about that. It is an amazing amount of work writing. So if anybody's going into it or anybody that's done it, hats off. I'm excited about it though. Without this, nothing else matters. So the second one we're going to talk about is reference gathering and stylistic exploration. So if you look at this first page, I've got some classic, incredible artwork up here. You know, Sid Mead and Akira, who doesn't want their sci-fi property to look like this? Again, I think with all of these images that I'm about to show you, these are just benchmarks. These are inspiration more than anything. You know, time and ability is going to prove out what I can really do. Production is going to have a big weight on what I can feasibly create within the time frame. That being said, I'm on no schedule to get episodes out. I could get 4 episodes out a year if I wanted to, or maybe it'll be more than that. We'll just have to see. But I really want these to be gorgeous. I want them to be compelling, and I want, you know, the work to really excite people, and I want them to really love the sci-fi in it. You know, I want this to pay off for me and the audience more than anything. So hopefully that'll happen. But again, like I said, these beautiful pieces that I've got up here for sort of the overall look and feel of the project are incredible inspiration. I do want to have that rich backgrounds with still that graphic novel, you know, 2D-esque nod to a 2D-esque look on the characters and foreground elements. We'll see how that all mixes. And now we've got some vehicles coming up, and again, some beautiful work. You know, I like that sort of gritty look. But again, what I usually do with the images is first I gather, I find the inspiration, and then what I might do is I might combine a few of them, a few of the disparate ones, take an Akira foreground character and stick it on one of these backgrounds, one of these found backgrounds, and see how that looks. See if I'm justified in my thinking about how those styles can work. And then once I'm excited about that, once I do a couple of those and I'm excited about it, then I'll go and I'll make a full-blown one. I'll do one of my own to really make sure it's working. And that'll prove it out. And I think through that development process, there's this one key image that shows up, that comes to life, that everybody on the project goes, that's it, that's the look. And so that's what this process is for me, finding a bunch of imagery that gets me excited, gets me inspired, and then mashing it together to see if I can find the project's voice, the project style, the heart of it, that will drive the rest of the development. From there, once I get that image done, then it's about deconstructing it so I can figure out how I want it to work. And so we'll see where that takes me. I have resolved some things though. I do think, and you'll see this in the devlogs to come, and you'll see it in the second devlog, which I'll do for next week for sure. And in that one, I'm going to break down the creative process I took to create the teaser trailer that you're all going to go watch Sunday, 10:27 a.m. I keep plugging this, but I have resolved that because I need to level up and I need to develop the style, I'm going to do both of those things together. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to learn Blender while I'm doing my stylistic character explorations. So I will be sculpting in Blender, drawing over top of them with grease pencil to do character explorations, character and creature explorations. I'm going to do that at the same time I'm learning. That is the best way to learn. You know, I could sit there and do tutorials and just learn, you know, for 5 months the software and get myself comfortable with that and then dive into stylistic development, but then I'm 5 months behind where I need to be. So doing it together, I think not only does it give me a purpose, but I'm going to find some techniques and tricks along the way that help influence that style as well. And again, will prove out a bit of production methodology as well. I may find out that a certain approach that I thought I could do, or a look I thought I could do, is impossible, would be too hard to do in the time frame I might have, or I could find some shortcuts that mean I could do more. Hopefully it'll be the latter, but that's what I'm going to do in this process. So look for that as I move forward in future devlogs. I'm really excited to show you, to get to the point where I've got a devlog on character development through that process. That's going to be really fun. Sculpting in Blender is a blast. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about is logo development. So like I mentioned, I didn't have a logo for this project that I've had forever, so finally to dive into it. So when I start with a logo, I usually start with going through a bunch of different fonts. And so here you can see I've got a bunch of different fonts. I'm going for a horror sci-fi, so I'm trying to find something that feels like that horror sci-fi genre. With these fonts, I thought I could maybe match these two up to create a look and a logo, so it gets grittier. The idea was, because I've got genetics as a big part of that, and particles, so that those two elements together could make that work. So that was a thought, and that's a very classic sci-fi font, very clean, sans serif, all that other stuff. So I liked these fonts to see what was going on. Out of all of them, this one really spoke to me. I thought I could put it on, like a glass slide that you put under a microscope, and it could be a specimen. So I really like those little blobs. The other thing I found was this great stylistic DNA strand. And again, because the project's based in a lot of genetics, I wanted to see what I could do with this DNA code. And so I wanted to see if I can incorporate that somewhere in the logo, or at least bring some elements in there. So I took that one font that I liked, and I took that DNA, and now I've got these. So again, what I'll do is I narrow the font down, I incorporate the elements, and then I make a bunch of variants to see which one I like. So you can see I've got 4 variants, and within those 2 variants, so one is the capital E and 2 is the lowercase e. And of these, I think this one was the best of the bunch. So I was going to move forward with that one, but then I had a talk with my wife, and she confirmed sort of my feelings as well, that it was too cartoony. And so I really wanted this to be hard-hitting, mature adult sci-fi, and that one wasn't going to do it. So I went back to the drawing board and found some more fonts. So this one here, still looking at these and trying it again. And I think overall I was sort of happy with them. And again, so back to variants, incorporating the DNA strand to see if that would all work. Again, the DNA is the I, or I made the E into sort of a, some sense of that DNA. But again, I don't think any of this was working. I think it was too retro, it's too 70s, and that's not what I was going for. So, it's okay, but it's not, I need a better logo. So none of these worked. So again, back to the drawing board, back to looking for more fonts, and I found Tachyon, which is great. You'll see it right here, it's good. So Tachyon really did it for me. It's got that great look and feel, and I think there's a lot of versatility and potential in it. So I modified the font. I changed up some areas to make it even more sci-fi and a bit more gritty, and again, to get that broken up particle feel to it. So every letter at some level I touched, but I still wanted to see, so I did that, I like that, but then I need to figure out how I'm going to get that DNA in there. But I don't know if I like that DNA, because I think it's too rounded. I don't think it fits with that font. So I did this instead. So I've got a more stylized DNA strand coming out of and reflecting sort of the font style. And I think that works a lot better, one on either side. And I think that feels great. Okay, and then from there, once I'm done in Illustrator, sorry, this is all Adobe Illustrator, then I move into Photoshop. So I've got my font and my base design done, but now I've got to dress it up. And I want to figure out, what that looks like. So I stick it on the dark background because it'll probably be there, and then I start playing with, some outlines. And so you can see here I'm outlining all of the fonts, or all of the letters, to see how that works and see if that's going to get me something. I'm pretty happy with that. But now I want to, you know, set it off a little bit more. And so I want to add a texture on the inside of that letter, just to give, again, I'm trying to go levels of information here, and I'm trying to do hints of what this project's about, make it a bit more horror, a bit more gritty, a bit unsettling in places. And so adding some sort of alien texture and detail to the lettering and in the logo itself, I think helps portray that. So I went that way. So you can see me throwing that on every letter. I've already made this, so I'm going through the layers and just turning them on so you can see the process. And then I really made sure that we could see that outline. So just pump that up. So that feels better. Now I need to figure out colors. What am I going to do with colors? Especially for those DNA strands. You know, I think we want to see what we want to do with those. We want those to stand out. I think the logo could be fine like this, standalone, but I think for the key logo, for the main logo, we want this to feel a bit more special. And again, hint at what the project's about. So the letters look good, the logo needs some help, or the DNA needs some help. So what do we do here? So I dove in, and again, much like the letters, I decided, well, let's add some texture to it. So I've got the circuit board texture, and I add some color to it. Again, that horror element to make it a bit scary bright red, and then a bit more of a glow to it. And I think that works really well. I love those two together. I think that feels ominous, a little scary, and sci-fi. So that's a great combination for me. So I replicate that on the other side. You'll see that in a second. And there you go. And then from there, now we've got the base word mark done. And now I'm just going to dress it up a bit more, add a bit of a shadow. I think we can add a bit more style, so a bit of a drop shadow, and you can see it better there on the lighter background. And then I want to add some outlines to it. So that inner one here, a little bit more just style and sophistication, and then the outer one there. And I think once we get this on a darker background, you're going to see how that comes to life. And I think that really ties that together. That looks great. Now that feels really, really nice and really well structured. And then obviously to finish off anything, especially in the sci-fi universe, a lens flare. So there it is, the final logo. You'll see that again tomorrow, Sunday, in the teaser trailer at 10:27 a.m. Go watch it. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this first devlog, and if you did, please like and subscribe. There's going to be many more to come, including next week for sure. There'll be one on the teaser trailer making of, essentially. But more than anything, I'm excited you're here. I'm excited I finally started this after 3 months. I'm finally there. I'm finally ready to do this. And please go watch the teaser. I really want to get your feedback and see what you think. So again, thanks for showing up. Thanks for taking a look. And those of you who made it this far in the video, thanks so much. Okay, we'll talk next week.